I came up with a new show idea, Lubie. And it's going to be a show entitled Loan Shark Tank, where we have like 5 loan sharks on one side, and the people come in, these bust out degenerate gamblers come in, and they try to negotiate better terms on some kind of a loan, and also secure the loan, even though their reputations may not match up with what would be considered spot-on credit. And then you got some guy coming in there going, hey, listen, I'm looking for $600 at 2 points a week. I'm telling you, I'm going to pay you back. I know my reputation is not necessarily exemplary. And, then the loan sharks start picking them apart. It's like, well, what are you talking about, Johnny? 2 points a week. That's laughable. It's 7 points a week just to talk to me. What do you think?
I think it's classic.
And you get the music going. The guy comes out. He's clearly in need of the money. And they get that dun, 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 dun. And you got some guy that looks like Vito. He's Mr. Wonderful's chair, and Mr. Wonderful's chair, and he's just looking at the guy like, what a watermelon.
I was gonna say you have to have at least one of the people or behind them, enforcers, at least either behind them or off to the side
with that face, that the enforcer always has. Like, let me at him. How about a little taste of pain?
The beginning of every episode, it's a guy that fucking didn't pay last week. So they have to send a message. Shit beat out of him, yeah. He's in some trash can peeling himself out. Man, here's last week's deadbeat. What do you think? Did I get some money to produce this thing? Is somebody going to steal the idea? I was afraid to unveil it here on the show because I thought it was brilliant. I think it's funny.
Loan Shark Tank.
The time. Wake up with Defo, joined by Lubie. Welcome to the Defo Show.
I didn't know that song that we played at the beginning had a second chorus to it. Welcome to the show. Good to have you guys with us. We will have Dave Gurggles Gergely today for an edition of the Trivia Challenge. It's been a couple of weeks. At least that is, if we can stave off further technical difficulties. We're assuming it's going to be okay, right, Lubie?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not always a fair assumption in the streaming game, is it?
No. You
just never know. I've introed many a guest since we've gotten to streaming. Now, we used to have the big fear in radio was cell phone crap out. Once it became common for people to do interviews on cell phones.
Yep.
It was reliable back in the days of the old hardline, Lubie. If you had a guest on, okay, we're going to bring on the great Dick Stockton here. He called the Celtics and the Lakers, 17 different series. And Dick, how are you? And you could count on the fact that the guy would say, hey, Defo, good to be on your show.
Yeah.
Whereas with cell phone crap out, anything could happen, right? Let's introduce the newly named manager of the Miami Marlins, Don Mattingly. Don, how are you, man? It's great to have you on the show, Donnie Baseball.
Yep.
Right, and you get nothing. Nothing. You get static. Unbelievable. But in the streaming world, you just don't know, right? I've been lately especially punching up a lot of new people on the Barrier Bookie thing on No Filter. And, of course, after the big intro, when the guy freezes, you really feel like a schmuck. And if you're on a show by yourself, all of a sudden, you're just cast adrift in a sea of babbling that you're thinking to yourself, is any of this of any interest to anybody? I don't know. Have you thought that, Lubie?
All the time.
At different times?
I think it constantly.
Are we missing the boat completely by not getting into the standard, just fabricated debate show where you just make up an issue? Who's the greatest of all time?
Yeah.
And that stuff, really gets old because now they have like a top 5 list. The world of sports has been around too long in a lot of cases to have a top 5 list of anything, right?
That's a problem with top 5 is we were doing top 5 40 years ago. You've had like 2 to 3 generations of players in that time.
Exactly.
It's just tough. Like, I feel bad because you moved like a lot of the greats out of there, but how do you not? Like the new level player, sometimes they deserve it. Tom Brady deserves it at quarterback. Patrick Mahomes deserves it at quarterback. In the NBA, LeBron definitely deserves to move himself into the top 5. When you look at like a Steph, like it's just the top 5 stuff. That's why I grew up. I did it a lot, and I know you were in the realm where on Sports Talk it was the thing. But to look at it, it just seems passe to me.
The contrived debates are really ridiculous, especially when it comes. People love lists, though, Lubie. They really do.
Dude,
my dad, it still, is ringing in my ears when I used to do a bunch of hokey stuff to stimulate calls. I was doing 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday,
Oh,
like
Jesus.
at night at WIOT.
Oh, God.
Well, I think I had a long time, and it kind of led to some of my future job offers. What was doing this Sunday morning sports page thing that I came up with because I had to fill 4 hours on a Sunday. And it kind of worked, but that was in a day when people actually tuned in and used radio as a medium that they were getting entertainment and information from.
Yes.
Which I don't know. I mean, who turns on the radio, right, to get the weather? You got some guy that just he's looking at weather that happened half a century ago. Hurricane Andrew looks like it's going to be a big threat. It's like 2024. Go fuck yourself. It's kind of like the headlines where we had the title for the morning briefing. Nobody can understand that. And I don't know how many times I went into explanations with Jim Sarney saying, no, the thing is just a takeoff on an old thing that I used to like in the Daily Racing Forum where they would throw a couple of headlines in.
Mhm.
And none of these sick degenerates that were on their way to the track gave a shit about what was going on in the rest of the world as long as they had enough money to bet that day. And it was called the morning briefing, and it was so far beyond the scope of being timely that they literally would say you're looking at the thing as you're going to the Belmont in 1973, and the headline in the morning briefing was Germans surrender, World War II comes to an end. So it was a takeoff on that more than it was like, oh, well, geez, I mean, you're not really briefing anybody in the morning here. You're just rambling with your usual bullshit, which what else can we do? This is what we do.
That's what we do.
Do you guys want contrived debates, man? I mean, they are screaming at each other. Is screaming, unfortunately, going to be like totally in vogue, not just in play-by-play, but it's always been that way in these contrived debate shows where people actually act like they're getting angry with each other about whether or not Chico Cardenas was a shortstop worthy of consideration for at least the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. You're like, what the fuck? I don't know. Who cares? I mean, how is that going to impact your life? I guess it's interesting to have an opinion on, right? People have an opinion on a lot of things. Look at the opinions people have on food, Lubie. Where you jump on that Let's Eat South Florida page, and 300 people attack somebody for saying that they like the roast beef at Tropical Acres. I mean, it's crazy, right? Where do you get the best prime rib? People love lists, though, and that's the whole thing.
Yes.
Hey, today's a great day in a lot of ways, Lubie. We're going to have the trivia challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely, or so we hope. And then I'm looking at this, and it's amazing. I mean, this would be like putting a pyramid of cocaine in front of John Belushi before one of the midweek his practices, for rehearsals for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Okay, I think of everything in sporting terms, but it'd be rehearsal. Look at this. I mean, can you see that, Lubie? That is a list of the odds that are posted for what I thought was going to be today's activity into the weekend.
Yeah, well, it starts today, right? The football game, college football starts today, I think.
College football has a hefty slate of kind of weenie games, although some named teams are involved.
Mm.
But here's where I'm going with this, Lou, because I'm looking this over. Of course, they have Major League Baseball. You got a bunch of games. It's a Thursday, usually a quiet day. They still have like 10 games going. They have the first week NFL odds, which we're a week away from the start of the National Football League season, as the Chiefs will open up against the Ravens. And I believe our friend Sheldon G was all over this game like 3 months ago. And that gets to my question. I mean, as a philosophy, I mean, you can't necessarily just take everything one day at a time, Lubie. Would you say that's a fair statement? I mean, you're still looking forward to possibly having little Lubies running around. So you're making preparations for that. And then you have to figure out, okay, financially, am I going to be okay? So you have to have a little bit of a view ahead or a path to at least being able to deal with whatever the circumstances are that you're in.
Picture. Yeah.
Right. But in general, I don't know. I mean, look, especially with the number of people that are checking out at younger ages than I am right now, which, I mean, it's always been the case. You can find somebody that, oh, my God, poor kid died at 4 years old. So to make it, when would you consider that you're on borrowed time, Lubie? At what age? 80?
Yeah, go sure.
When does that kick in? 80?
I don't know.
Borrowed
We'll see.
time. I'm talking borrowed time.
We were at the Taste of the Track a week ago, and they had a salsa band, and there was this lady dancing,
Yeah.
and my friend went up, and I was like, "Oh, look at her! She's like in her 70s. Good for her." My friend went up. The lady was in her 90s, and she was up
90s,
there
still dancing. Well, maybe
dancing,
that's why. Yeah.
walking, dancing. I was like, you know what? I don't know what is too old now. Like, I
Be-
80 something, I guess, but I wouldn't put it past people to be living a full life at that age now, which is really cool to see.
When I was running my wave runners around the intercoastal there, and I used to look at boats, and I would think about, what would I name a boat? I did have a boat, but it didn't. It was inoperable. I don't know. You remember that stupid piece of junk I had in the backyard there for a while? One of my former girlfriend's father had found this thing like floating in the intercoastal and brought it to my house.
No, geez.
So, yeah, it didn't. The engine wouldn't start. There was no way to start it. It didn't even have like an ignition. Nothing. I mean, somebody had pulled all the electronics out of this thing, and so anyway, it was sort of inoperable. But I used to think and fantasize about what would I name a boat.
Okay.
I don't know. What would be the name that pops in your head if you were going to name a Lubie boat?
No
You
idea.
got yourself a nice little, 28-footer center console. You're just going to cruise around. You're not going to do anything too dangerous. If the inlet is choppy, you're not going out. Let's just go to Boca Lake. That's a weird thing about owning a boat too, where you get on a boat and then you just go to like. Have you been on a boat to Boca Lake? It's like this
No.
area in the intercoastal that
Just
kind
hang
of
out.
widens out, and it's about 3 feet deep,
Oh,
and there'll be thousands of boats there.
it's like
Everybody's
a
just getting
sandbar. People love that. Yeah, it's like a sandbar.
shit-faced drunk, and
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of blaring country music, which I still believe. I mean, should it not be outlawed country music? Where does that stand with the two parties involved in a presidential election? I haven't heard anybody mention that issue yet. Trump
Yeah.
would be in favor of it, of course. Isn't Kid Rock doing country now? I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's cashing in.
Country. I don't know if he's done music in 2 decades, but when last we left him, he did some country stuff, I guess. I don't think of him as a country musician. I don't think of him as a musician, period.
If you're a lawyer, I mean, why not name your boat Motion Granted? Or wouldn't that make some sense? Right? Like all of a sudden you got this guy off and it was worth like millions of dollars in laundered cocaine money that came into your bank account somehow and was not going to be investigated because the case became an embarrassment for the government.
Exactly.
That could be. Borrowed time, though, is always the one that I kind of got stuck
Borrowed
on.
time.
Yeah. Horses and divorces. We talked about that.
That feels more like you.
It had some meaning. Because the obvious is I would have had the boat a lot sooner if it weren't for horses and divorces. Speaking of which, and this is where I'm going with this also is that I mean, should you be living one day at a time, Lubie? Borrowed time. Should you be living one day at a time?
You should have an idea toward the future, because God willing, you get there. But the smart people, to me, take the days as they come. Like
if you can, sort of school yourself to do that.
Yeah,
I mean, you would be a much happier person, I believe. No,
100%.
I mean, and take the memories from the past that are pleasant, even if it's only like a scant few. But in gambling, should you also take it? I mean, somewhat one day at a time. Now, look, if you're all hyped up about the Hurricanes going against the Gators, which I sense. We were talking about this with Tony yesterday. Tony, Tony Segreto gets more involved. I don't know how involved he is from his digs in Vermont with what's going on the campus of the University of Miami right now. Well, what would you think, Libby? I mean, has Tony kind of had some separation with the heyday when we used to be hanging on every occurrence? If some kid got arrested at 4 a.m, people were, at the jail trying to cover it because he was a third-string tight end for the Canes. And you were thinking, oh, my God, how is this going to impact the game against the Gators? There was open hatred going back and forth between Gator fans. This was not a friendly rivalry, Lubie. Florida State would play Miami, and people had their arms around each other. You'd have Gene Deckeroff come on the show. I don't think Hubert would talk to us for years. That's why it was such a phenomenon. I mean, I was so honored and thrilled that he finally consented to do an interview, because back in the day, I was like an enemy of the Gator Nation, Libby.
Yes, it was funny.
A known named enemy, Clockwork Orange. Your name was mentioned. Yes, yes, yes. There it is, right on the list. DeForest, you're an asshole. And that's what these people thought. I mean, and they would go out of their way. I mean, subversive, very cynical operations were being conducted. Thank God the internet wasn't around at that time, or I mean, every day they would have been shitting on my face right there on Facebook.
Pounding you.
Oh God, I'm lucky. You know what? Do you ever feel that while we're talking about borrowed time that maybe you're lucky, even though the clock is ticking? Maybe you're lucky that you had the life that you did and came along at the time that you did. I don't know. Are you feeling that?
Oh,
Does
for
your
some,
generation
yeah.
feel that? Because I do in many senses, except I don't want the sands to go through the hourglass.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that the other day. I'm like, in some ways, people had it easier. In some ways, in the future, people will have it easier. It's just interesting how time works. I'm trying to just take it moment by moment because it moves by really fast when you don't do that.
Moment by moment, in a lot of cases, is like getting pounded in the corner by Alexis Arguello's right hand when he's sensing a knockout. I mean, it's like, oh shit, man, this is no fun. But the reason I bring this up is because as I was perusing these odds here, which is substantial, I mean, look at this, Lubie, 2 columns, just solid odds on games. Most of them college football. The second column is all college football.
There's like 10 to 15 tonight. There's like 10 different like Power 5 teams that play, and then you have Minnesota and North Carolina playing, which is an actual Big Ten ACC game. Like this is before the weekend begins. We have action tonight. Like and that's why the NFL doesn't really start this week. They let college football just go crazy Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. There's games.
Kind of cool. I mean, actually, if you're a college football fan, you couldn't get enough of this, right?
Great. And my wife's gone till tomorrow night, so
you're going to be watching this? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, tonight for sure.
Yeah. You got the trivia thing, which we're going to have here in a sec too.
We will. Gurggles is standing by. Colorado plays tonight, and it's funny. Their gimme game is against a team that's won a lot of D2 championships. They play North Dakota State, so that would be interesting for them. And then you have Minnesota and North Carolina, which is tonight, which is actually a decent
10-point favorites, Dion and his crew.
Yeah, we'll see.
Against North Dakota State. Wouldn't that be cool? I mean, how many 60-minute interviews are we going to see with Deion Sanders this year? The guy got off to like a 3-0 start, ended up getting crushed like a grape, looked like a fool in the process. Yep. And everybody left the team after he had thrown everybody off the team prior to that. So he brings in these guys, and they all say, you know what, fuck you, Deion, you're an asshole.
That's what happened.
He's got a censorship issue working right now with some schmuck reporter from the Denver Post. I don't know. Is this guy like some big deal? Is it like he's taking on Cosell or something?
I don't know if it's Woody Hayes. Woody Page.
Woody Page, yeah. I mean, if he was taking on Woody Page, it would seem to be more appropriate, just take on an old man. It was kind of like when Deion poured the drink over Tim McCarver's head. Think about that. That was, I mean, and McCarver, all he could do, I mean, what was he going to do? Throw a punch at Deion Sanders? You remember that incident, man? That's like Trumpian.
In the booth. He came
that was such ugliness. No, it was like in the locker room, right?
Oh, was it in the locker room? I thought
it was, so, yeah.
Came up to him when he was on air. He like threw.
No, I mean, McCarver, I guess my recollection is he was critical that Deion was being selfish by playing football and then being in like a World Series or whatever he was in, a playoff game.
He played for the Falcons, and then
and he would take a
helicopter,
fly him there,
playoff game or whatever.
Like he was Johnny Velasquez going to ride that night at Charlestown in a big stakes race after riding all day in Aqueduct. I mean, we've seen athletes do this. It's kind of cool. I mean, one of the weirdest ones was when everybody was following the movement of Kobe Bryant as he went from that Colorado courtroom to Laker games, which somehow he was able to participate in spite of the fact that, you know what, it looked like, I don't mean to be judgmental, Lubie, but did it not look like they had a pretty good case against him, no? And the liberal, treatment of this guy, and look, I became a Kobe Bryant fan after not necessarily being one through most of his career. Okay. Did you find yourself, taking a different view of Kobe Bryant as he got older? And certainly, the tragic death.
When he was out of basketball and you saw him doing the stuff with his daughters.
Yeah.
Won like an Oscar for some cartoon movie.
Right. It was interesting.
Yes. He was a different dude. Yes, that guy. It was a la Steve Spurrier, where when he was in South Carolina, he was a very different guy than when he was at UF.
Yes.
So yes, Kobe. Even though I couldn't stand him as a player, he did sort of. It felt like, unlike Jordan, who has struggled to this day with retirement, Kobe actually was one of those people who people thought would not do well. He did the opposite. He attacked it with a passion and became like a girls' basketball coach / got into media and supposedly was really enjoying it. So yes, it seemed like he was a different dude.
Seemed to have branched out.
Yes, he was a different dude.
Outside of and there was an interesting person outside of the guy that we saw that seemed to be just an egomaniacal,
yes,
brilliant talent, but nonetheless, I mean, he told Shaq to go take a fucking hike, right?
100%. Yes,
seems like a pretty good guy.
Yes.
All right, so the bottom line on all of this conversation, Lubie, is that how far ahead should you be looking if you're gambling? I'm perusing this list. Now, I understand, naturally, people are interested in games that are taking place Saturday, Sunday, whatever. That's all great. Maybe even into next week with the Chiefs and the Ravens. You might be thinking about that game to start out the NFL season. But
a week away.
One of the listings in here, I don't know if they just needed to fill space. Is that possible, that they had a big white hole in the left column and they said, okay, throw in opening night NBA odds.
What?
Thursday, October 24th. Should you be looking that far down the road to bet an NBA game? Celtics at home, 4.5 over the Knicks. Timberwolves on the road, 3.5 over the LeBron James led and Bronny James. Los Angeles Lakers, my friend.
I mean, people up north, I know
how much advance notice do you need on that stuff, Lubie?
I mean, the Northeast, I know they're not the biggest college football fans, but they like the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, you have the college football and NFL here. Like, why are we...
Are you considering your options in betting the Celtics and the Knicks on opening night in the NBA?
I guess the rosters are pretty much set at this point, so I guess you sort of know what you're getting. But we know the NBA is a joke the first 2 months. Like I mean,
imagine this.
Imagine it's generate. Like you can't. The college football / NFL is not enough.
You think that was a mistake that some intern just threw that in there? I don't know.
No, it's supposed to cover everything and they're very detailed on everything. It's just weird. Like the NFL's enough. Like
they pay strict attention to these gambling options. That's for
lot.
sure. All right. Boy, there was a tough beat last night. I mean, we talked about being late to the party and maybe going to the well once too often. Imagine, I didn't do this, Lubie, but Paul Skeens on the mound for the Pirates last night against the Cubs. You see what happened in this game? It hadn't happened in 353 previous games, where a team that was trailing by 7 runs going to after 7 innings, or going to the 7th inning, ended up winning the ball game. They were 0-353 in this situation during the course of the season. Skeens goes 5 innings. The Cubs are up 10-3, and essentially. No. The Pirates are up 10-3.
Oh, Pirates. Okay.
Yeah. He gave up like 2 runs in 5 innings, but after 5, they're up like 10-3. And imagine you bet on this, probably laying a pretty good price against the Cubs with Paul Skeens, who's been hot, and then only to get crushed. I mean, like a grape, as they rallied for 6 in the 9th to win the game by a 14-10 count. And you would need a standing 8 count after that, Lubie. I mean, those are the treacheries of gambling. It hadn't happened. I mean, you're the only guy, you're the only schmo that got nailed in a 0-for-353 situation. I don't know. At that point, what do you do? Shrug your shoulders and just write it off? It's bad luck? Or do you realize that you are indeed, really, in reality, cursed?
I hang it up. But yes, most people probably go,
cursed.
Aberration. Yeah, I would think. I'd be like, gambling's not for me.
That's the stuff that happens to Larry the Leaper. If it happens to you, I mean, you really have to reconsider your position in life. All right, speaking of great positions in life, this guy's living a dream, man. Did you get that video? Did it come through of the woman running through her hotel room in the Maldives?
I did. Yeah.
Did that look relatable? Yeah.
Except the Indian Ocean was not that calm behind my cottage there. Yeah.
But were you right? I mean, you jumped off your balcony into the water? Was that the way that it looked that way?
We had an infinity pool. I just stayed in there. Then I went snorkeling later on in the Indian Ocean. But it was pretty rough at my place. But I was happy to get in there. But I jumped into the infinity pool, not into the ocean. But it was a great video. Thank you.
Very nice, man. How'd you pull that off, Gurggles, ending up there?
just a place I wanted to go, and
Yeah,
the
wow.
young lady with me wanted to go as well. And I got a good title for Lubie's boat too.
Yeah.
I thought Lubie's boat should be Lubie Doobie Doo. And I thought your boat should be named Slip of the Tongue.
I don't know. I was kind of stuck on horses and divorces for a while because.
Well, I like that one too.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to see Kyle at Saratoga, but I sure enjoyed it.
He said you never called. He was a little upset.
No, I was busy. We were set down in the paddock every day in front of a huge screen, 7 of us with coolers, sandwiches, the whole deal.
Oh, this is so Gurggles.
The very first day I hooked up with a buddy of mine from Miami that's up there for the season. We played the late pick 5. We hit an 11-1, 3-1.
Ooh.
Bill Parcells' horse, and then the skies opened, and they took the last 2 off the turf, giving us all in each of them.
Oh, yeah.
The consolation paid $54, and we had it 25 times.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So, yeah, we split that up, and then Johnny B won for me. I had the winner of the Alabama as well with Castellano when I was up there. It was a good time up there, really good time.
Sounds like you came back with a big score.
Yeah, and today Kentucky Downs opens up.
Oh, yeah, and that's a while. Is that the track where they come down the stretch and you think the race is over, and then there's still another mile to go?
Yeah, the camera looks like something out of Alan Funt's Candid Camera or something like that. Yeah, definitely.
You sit there, you think you have it won. You're like, holy shit, look at this. And then it's not like the race has another few feet left. It has like another quarter mile.
Yeah.
And then they're going down a hill and up a hill and all over the place. No, it's kind of wild, but it's your kind of track, Gurggles, with big prices, usually bombed away.
All turf as well, as a matter of fact, which makes it even better.
All right. We're going to get into the trivia challenge with Dave Gurggles Gergely. You can dial us up, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070. And we have the usual Landlubbers gift certificate that Lubie is so generously offering, courtesy of the great Alex Dufresne. And Lubie will be there tonight with I think, widely recognized, Gurggles, as the best of the bar trivia competitions.
Oh, yeah.
That are out there by far. And that's something to be proud of there, Lubie. I mean, you're being very humble.
When Ken puts his time into it, then, yeah, I would think I feel bad for these other companies because you're not going to compete with Ken.
No, the professor is very thorough, no doubt.
I mean, we hear it every Friday, the stuff he comes up with.
Oh, shit.
I wish you luck trying to compete with him.
This is, and he should be wild. I mean, with 400 college football.
He's going to be yelling at me. He's going to be wanting to be like, come on, Lubie.
Let's get this done. I got Buffalo State.
I can't even imagine how many. We should have had him on. Shit, we should have had him on today. I can't imagine how many games he's going to have action on this weekend.
I mean, there are some games of high intrigue, Lubie.
Especially after my fucking Seminoles screwed him last weekend. We were trying to figure it out from every angle why the line was doing what it was doing. Well, you saw it.
Yes.
It's not a game.
Everybody knew that the Seminoles were going to be a no-show.
Those games are tough. Like, even if FSU played better, which they didn't, I put it on them. They played like ass. Like, these kids going across to, again, like we talked about, a lot of these kids have never been out of their own fucking state outside of these, like, tournaments they do. They haven't traveled to Europe. So to put, and I get it, both teams do it, but you see the favorite. I think they've done these like 2-3 years in a row. The favorite always struggles in these games. Like it's just a tough spot for a bunch of college kids who have not played a minute of the season to go in there. So yeah, I presume Ken will be trying to get revenge this weekend as much as he can.
You're saying some kid from Kissimmee who's a freshman might have gotten a little lost in the
the Irish
adventure of going to Ireland and getting drunk from the time he got off the plane. All right, we're going to come back with Dave Gurggles Gergely in the trivia challenge. Dial us up if you want to play, 954-417-0070. A Landlubbers gift certificate to be given away and some fun to be had as we continue in a moment. Now that it's 8:33. Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
Oh, Solo Volante will be coming late. Oh, Solo Volante. The Belmont's now 1 mile and an 8. The finish line is coming up quick. Luca Panici just switched the stick.
The only way to get your morning started is with Defo, joined by Lubie, right here on the Defo Show.
All right, set for the trivia challenge here. Gurggles in a bit of a rear naked choke, I think. You okay there, Gurgs?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Leads the league in throat clearing in the history of this program. By the way, I mentioned this, and you hadn't been with us for a couple of weeks. I was talking about this with Lubie. Highest form of praise came from a gentleman as I was entering the now known as the Pomp of Pompano. Was Harrah's Casino. It was the Island Casino. It was Pompano Park. And I'm walking into the entrance. The guy goes, "Hey, Defo." And I'm like, I turn around, say hello like I usually would. And he says, I gotta tell you, you and those guys on Saturday, you and Lubie, you got me through 5 years of federal prison in Miami.
Oh, you didn't tell Gurgs
He
this.
said this was his greatest joy was to hear everybody on the radio, and that's the only way you survive 5 years. And I thought that was the highest form of praise coming from a guy, because we had often speculated that we probably were number one with people who were incarcerated
that is true.
and or confined to a situation where their radio only picked up one station. That was it. But anyway, so I mean, you can take that with you, Gurggles, that you helped somebody by just being an entertainer, which is essentially what we're trying to do here. All right, the trivia challenge. Here we go. Gurggles is going to be firing off the questions. You can dial us up if you want to play 954-417-0070. The competition is on, and in honor of the Polyman, who seems to be in good spirits. The Polyman, although. Nice. Kind of, indicative of. I'm vouching for how he is, and he brought this up about we're saying, well, nobody's talking about the Gators and the Canes, but he qualified that by saying, but I don't talk to anybody anymore. So why would anybody be talking about it? All right, so we're going to get into it in honor of the Polyman and start out the game in a semi-traditional fashion now with Dave Gurggles Gergely and some.
Easy baseball. Nice. This pitcher, often accused of throwing a spitter, when asked if he indeed threw spitballs, replied, "Not intentionally, but I do sweat easily." Was it Lefty Gomez, Preston Gomez, Garrett Gomez, or Gomez Adams?
I thought that had to be Gaylord Perry. Here's the random phone scrambler. And it lands on Ron. Ron, you're on the trivia challenge. Good morning, Ron.
Good morning, fellas. Let's go with A.
Get it right on the head. 1 point going for 2.
All right, Ron, baseball, true or false? Former Dodger pitcher Oral Hershiser is now a partner in a Buick GM dealership in California. True or false?
True.
Says true.
That is true.
That is true. All right.
Our dealership.
Very good. All right. 2 for 2, Ron. Sharp as attack today.
All right, sticking with baseball, Ron. Which of the following players hit a grand slam home run in his first major league at bat? Harmon Killebrew, Bill Freehan, Bobby Bonds, or Johnny Callison?
Let's go Bobby Bonds.
That's
Bobby
correct.
Bonds, correct.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh wow!
It's always Johnny Callison with you, being a big Johnny Callison fan.
So 5 is your sweep.
I was totally duped on that. All right, we have a possible sweep right out of the chute here, which
You
is
had a
always
sweep in a while.
always interesting.
All right, Ron. Good luck. I don't really mean that, but good luck. All right. ABA. Believe it or not, the Miami Floridians made the playoffs 3 of the 4 seasons in the league. In their first year in 68-69, they defeated this team, as a matter of fact, in the opening round of the playoffs. Was it the Kentucky Colonels, the Indiana Pacers, the Virginia Squires, or the Minnesota Pipers?
Let's go Kentucky Colonels.
The Colonels.
No, it was the team that moved from Pittsburgh after winning the championship, the Minnesota
Right, maybe in the finals.
Wow. Was Artis Gilmore on the Kentucky Colonels? Was that his team? No, he was Jacksonville, wasn't he? Did they have a team in Jacksonville, the ABA?
No.
No?
Artis Gilmore?
Artis Gilmore, yeah. Who did he play?
College in Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So who did he play for in the ABA? San Antonio? Artis Gilmore.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Well, he played San Antonio in the NBA.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was assuming then maybe weren't they one of the teams that was absorbed there? So I thought maybe that's where he was. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. ABA history, Gurggles.
Next question. That'll be next week's question.
I don't know. That's a category you don't hear come up that often. On Jeopardy or any of these. Imagine that you get in there and you say, okay, here we go, double Jeopardy. And you have ABA history with Dave Gurggles Gergely. You pop up on the
Louis
video.
Dampier. You just say, who is Louis Dampier? That's it.
All right. Here we go. We have Ron with 5 setting the pace. And here's our next set of questions.
Tennis. And this is a flashback. This longtime tennis commentator on defining an oft-used term said, an unforced error, huh? My uncle always described an unforced error as his first marriage. The late Bud Collins, Tom Collins, Dave Collins, or Chris Collinsworth?
Wow, Collins, the best. All right, here's the scrambler. And wow, all right. The aforementioned Andy Man is our next player. Andy, how are you, my friend?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good morning, Andy.
Doing all right. I mean, dare we ask, where are you calling us from?
I'm in Cemetery Village. So.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, thank God.
That's a good thing. Do you go there because you're healthier than anybody else in the complex? I mean, are you like the Jack LaLanne of this area?
I'm the young tyke.
Well, it's funny. I thought I was the strongest guy here until Kyle told me his father.
Oh, yeah.
His father's a tough guy.
No, his father's
His father still looks like Frank Malzone in his prime. I mean, and I was named to the Jersey Sports Hall of Fame as a third baseman for his high school accomplishments. All right, Andy, man, you're in the game. You have 1 point.
All right, Andy, right up your alley. Horse racing, true or false? One of the leading jockeys at the Saratoga meet is French-born Flavien Prat, who credits his success to his sports psychologist who helped him after a spill he had 3 years ago, almost causing him to retire. True or false?
Yeah, I think I remember you got. I might go with true.
True.
That is
That
true.
is true. Wow.
That's true.
I thought he was going to credit Jean Prouguet passing the torch there as French riders. But he's a nice guy. Prouguet was, somewhat of a dick. Mentioned it many times that he blamed my friend Mike and me for costing him a race at Hialeah, even though we were hundreds of yards from the finish line with our camera. Hundreds of yards, Gurggles. I mean, we were practically in the grandstand. All right. You are 2 for 2, Andy, going for 5 and a tie for the top spot.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, NFL preseason. I think we're just about done with that. But in 1992, this team in 4 preseason games outscored their opponents 140-6.
Oh, jeez.
Who was that preseason juggernaut?
Right.
Was it the Bears, the Vikings, the Rams, or the Raiders?
92, so let's see.
92.
Well, yep. Yeah. I'll go with the Rams.
Rams.
No, it was the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, man, I would have been wrong too.
Yeah.
No disgrace there, Andy, and still a shot to take the lead
You take
and
first, we get these five.
be on top.
Baseball, Andy. Which of the following pitchers once went 72 innings without issuing a walk? Lou Burdett, Whitey Ford, Greg Maddux, or John Smoltz?
Oh, God.
Interesting.
72 innings without a walk. Go with, just because I've done a quantification of all your questions, normally A is the most dominant answer. So I'll go with A.
Who's A?
Well,
Using artificial intelligence.
That's the most dominant answer to the first question, yes.
Yeah.
But it's actually C, Greg Maddux. The
I was going to
obvious
say Maddox. Maddox always, Maddox never
he
struck
was
people out.
obvious.
Well, they had the plate extenders for
People didn't,
Maddox.
walk, people didn't walk against Maddox.
Ball would be 2 feet outside, bouncing the dirt twice, and they'd ring the guy up. All right, Andy, thanks for playing a game. That doesn't necessarily completely eliminate you from the competition. One thing there is no competition for, or if there is, I mean, it's among the most elite, and that would be Perdomo Cigars, Gurggles.
Yeah, I packed my bag and I took a carry-on so I didn't have to check any bags when I got to Allentown, then drove up to Saratoga. And I got to Bern, New York, staying on the lake. And I go, I got cigars for tomorrow. And I go, I can't find them. So I had to buy a cigar at the track. It cost $18. They didn't have any Perdomos. The guy said, "You've got some back at the office, but not here."
What was it? Lose Cigars?
My bag, found my Perdomo cigars, and everything was good after that. So you don't have to go through all what I did, but you can go to 5150 Northwest 167th Street, right off the Palmetto, a little bit east of the Home Depot on the south side of the street. They're open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I was there yesterday. They will be closed on Labor Day. So you want cigars for this weekend? I recommend going today or tomorrow right to Perdomo, factory direct to you prices. And if you miss them, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, you want a cigar, any tobacconist worth their salt should have them. Go online, www.perdomocigars.com, to find a retailer near you that sells them. And we have a Perdomo cigar horse of the day today. Start off your day right at Kentucky Downs.
Ooh.
And he's relocated his whole family there for this 7-day meet. Jose Ortiz on the 11 in the very first race with a song, I think that, who sang this song? Don McLean, Starry Night. The 11 horse, 9-2 morning line is our Perdomo horse of the day. When he crossed the line first, or it looks like he's crossed the line first when he gets to the top of the stretch and still has an eighth of a mile to go, put something great in your mouth with a cigar from Perdomo Cigars.
Lubie and I found Don McLean to be an absolutely delightful guy.
Oh, yeah, we interviewed him.
Yeah.
You met him?
Yeah,
we had him on a couple of phone interviews, and he really was. I mean, if you hated the song because it was stuck in your head, right? And you're thinking, who wrote this atrocity? Bye, bye, Miss America, bye. You know, and you're like, get the fuck out of here with this. But he went ahead and he took responsibility for that. He said, yes, I know I've ruined many lives. Many a person's day has been occupied with same thing. Debbie Boone, she had the same approach there.
When I was in college,
my life,
when I was in college at Rider, we had a January term. In my first year, January of '71, we hopped in a Volkswagen bus and drove to New Orleans. And on the way to New Orleans, we heard American Pie 31 times.
I know, they drilled it into your head, man. It was worse than those WNBA season opening ads when they had their first year in the WNBA and they had the We Got Next campaign. Same thing I mean now. I'm experiencing that with the Jardiance ad and Cars for Kids. Those two, I mean, I have to I just put a fist through the TV before I can't find a remote when those come on.
do it when I see the Navarge commercial with people putting water up their nose.
Oh, the nose.
Oh, yeah. That's good. All right, well, let's continue with the business at hand here. As we have so far Ron with 5 points, and he's in the lead, competing for the Landlubbers gift certificate. It's the trivia challenge. That's Dave Gurggles Gergely, victorious. I mean, I don't know that too many guys have come back from Toga that hadn't taken a little bit of at least some body shots and a bit of a beating going into the late rounds. But, I mean, Kyle said he didn't do too badly there. and that would constitute a lot of guys because he's the only other guy I talked to that was up there. But and I don't know. It hasn't been easy pickings, has it? Unless you're a chalk player, which you are not.
I'm not. And what helped me is I bet only Saratoga. Not five
okay.
TVs and races from everywhere else.
No screen
and
to
that
screen.
really helped me.
Yeah. Well, discipline. That doesn't. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mix. It's like women and gambling don't mix. Discipline and gambling don't necessarily mix, right? All right, here we go. Next set of questions. Dave Gurggles Gergely from the Maldives.
Golf. This frustrated PGA player, when asked why he had a new club in his bag, explained, "Why am I using a new putter? Because the old one didn't float well." Craig Statler, Craig Kilborn, Killer Kowalski, or Stanley Kowalski?
All right, Lubie rolling a random phone scrambler. And it lands on Mike. Mike, you're on the trivia challenge.
Hey, good morning. I'll say A, and I'm calling from the sweltering Mechanicsburg, PA.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. What are you doing up there?
Our daughter lives here.
Oh, very
cool.
nice.
Only
Wow.
problem is it's 93 degrees, so it's not fun.
Oh, it's not.
You're preaching to the choir here. I mean, we're baking like a potato
Okay.
every day. When it's cool outside, it's a blast furnace.
Yeah,
All right, Mike, you have 1 point. You're in the game.
All right, Mike, good luck. True or false? Horse racing. Travis Kelce, believe it or not, has become part owner of a gelding name, appropriately enough, Swift Delivery, who
There
was
you go.
entered in this Saturday's Toronto Cup at Woodbine. True or false?
You made that one up. Oh,
He
Oh,
says
happens to be
false.
true.
False.
He says false. He
It's
just
true.
bought a piece. I saw it in a poster
It is
today.
true. Yeah, he bought
I got
a
a
piece
picture
of
of
Swift
him.
Delivery.
Yeah. So, he got involved. I mean, why not? $100 million for doing a podcast? Get the fuck out of here, Lubie.
Wow.
Give us 1 million. And I don't know that we produce anything as interesting as there is, at least driven by the wild desire to consume anything about Taylor Swift, right? I mean, imagine would he be this popular without the Taylor Swift thing?
No.
No, right.
No.
The mother wouldn't be doing
That
Swift
crossover.
commercials.
The podcast was already going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't getting attention like this until Taylor Swift.
$100 million, man. Unbelievable. Just to get anything on Taylor. What's she like in bed? All right. Where are we at? We got one going for 4.
1 point going for 4.
Yes.
All right, football, Mike. Jameis Winston had a season in which he threw 30 touchdown passes and 30 interceptions. Which of the following quarterbacks came closest to that with 32 TDs and 29 interceptions? Was that Archie Manning, Lynn Dickey, Brett Favre, or John Hadle?
Oh,
Brett Favre.
that's what I would have said.
No, it was
no.
Lynn Dickey of the 83 Packers.
Oh, way to throw in an obscure guy and we overlooked it. Very nice,
I
Gurggles.
thought Dickie was one of the. I was
How
going
do
to
we let Gurggles get away with that one?
Perfect.
All right. Everybody
This-
blanked on that.
5 point here.
5-pointer for Mike. Trying for 6 points in the lead.
Baseball. Which player who at one time was a member of the Marlins joined Ted Williams hitting a home run in his final major league at bat?
All right.
Was that Dave Magadan, Junior Felix, Dan Ugla, or Gary Sheffield?
Oh,
A
God.
couple of former Marlins on there.
Let's go Ugla.
Yes.
Wow.
With Washington Nationals in his last at bat.
Good job.
No juice for Danny Boy. All of a sudden started hitting like 50 home runs. Very good. All right, Mike goes into the lead. He catapults himself into the top spot there with 6 points. Ron has 5. You want to do another player, Lubie? Or all right, well, we'll go ahead and dial up another player, or you can dial us up at 954-417. We have to call you. We had to do that on occasion, Gurggles, with the many station swaps that we made where it wasn't announced until like that morning that we had left the previous place. And then you're sitting there, in the back of that motorcycle shop thinking, is anybody out there? Hearing the numbers. And then we would call like Jeff, what was his last name? The bail bondsman.
Oh, Jeff Millman.
Jeff Millman, yes. May he rest in peace. I can't believe he checked out.
Yep.
Now that's been years already. But we'd end up like calling him. He would be standing outside the dealership.
That's right. Even the mixer went outside and called for us.
Okay, I got the answers for you. All right, 954-417-0070, 954-417-0070 if you'd like to play the game. And I think we're ready to go here, Gurggles, with our next set of questions.
Sure. Boxing. This sports commentator on a certain boxer's style said, George Chuvalo's best punch is a left cheek to the right glove.
Was
that
only
Larry
be one
Merchant,
guy.
Larry Boa, Frank Larry, or Yale Larry?
All right, let's roll the scrambler here. I have a funny feeling, guys, that this gentleman will get this one right. Lenny the Chronic. Lenny the Chronic. You are on the trivia challenge. Hello.
Hello, fellas. How are you? How are you?
Good, Lenny. How are you?
I should mention this. Ron and Lenny gave me $20 each, and I put in 20, and we ran it up to 122 up at Toga.
Wow.
So I actually put in some more to start it again, but we have some money, and Lenny, I may play some of that today at Kentucky Downs, but I'll let you know.
Absolutely. I was going to tell you. Let's do it.
There's nothing like live pool money.
Hey,
Yeah.
burgers tonight.
Well, we had the winner of the Travers too. We bet Fierceness to win. All right, Lenny. True or false?
Yeah.
Football. No, actually, let's do golf for you, Lenny. Believe it or not, John Ashton, who played Gomez Adams on the Addams Family, was a scratch golfer, and along with pro partner Billy Casper, once finished second in the Bing Crosby Pro-Am at Pebble Beach. True or false?
He looks like a golfer. Why not? Let's go true.
True.
No,
No,
I made
made
that
that up. Nice one, Gurggles.
Of course not.
Don't want to imply that Lenny's easily duped by the true-false question, but if your life had to depend on it, Lenny, I mean, the record is not impressive. Let's put it that way. All right, but still, the record as a champion is solid. So one going for 4. You can't, like Djokovic, you can't count this guy out.
All right, golf, Lenny. Only 2 golfers have won the same event 8 times. Tiger Woods at Bay Hill and
Whom at where?
Jack Nicklaus, Byron Nelson, Gene Sarazen, or Sam Snead.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear the question. I'm sorry.
Okay. Only 2 golfers have won the exact same event 8 years, 8 different times. Tiger Woods at Bay Hill and whom? Jack Nicklaus, Byron Nelson, Gene Sarazen, or Sam Snead?
Go with Byron Nelson.
Byron
No,
Nelson.
Sam Snead
I was gonna-
at Greenbrier in West Virginia.
I was going slamming Sammy there. I would have had that one
Yep.
for you, Lenny. But unfortunately, you're going to have to come up with your own stuff here because you need this one to get into a tie for first place.
NBA, Lenny. Which coach was the head coach of 3 winning All-Star teams in the decade of the 1980s? Pat Riley, Billy Cunningham, Chuck Daly, or Casey Jones?
We lost him for a second. Say that again.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's
There we
there
go.
now. Say it again. Say it again.
All right. Repeat that question, please.
Oh, sure.
Sorry.
Which coach was the head coach of 3 winning All-Star teams in the NBA in the decade of the 1980s? Pat Riley, Billy Cunningham, Chuck Daly, or Casey Jones?
Lenny?
Wait,
Is he there?
There you are.
He just said
Pat
sorry.
Riley?
He said Pat
Pat
Riley.
Riley.
No, it was the Kangaroo Kid from Brooklyn, Billy Cunningham.
Really?
All right. Very good. That's going to leave us with Ron and Mike contesting the
Yes.
championship and competing for the Landlubbers gift certificate here on another exciting edition of the Trivia Challenge. Gurggles, what brand cigar were they selling for $18? What was it, like an Acme
Geez, I
cigar
don't even
at
remember the brand.
Saratoga?
It was okay, but it couldn't compare to a Lot 23 or out here at the golf course at Miami Lakes. We sell the 10th anniversary champagne, both in the Robusto and in the Churchill. I picked up 2 boxes yesterday for the Pro Shop here. Course is in great shape. We had a little lightning this morning. Right now it's sunny. Course is busy today. We just had a meeting yesterday. We will have our 21st annual Corey for St. Jude's tournament October 28th. And we've raised over $400,000 for St. Jude's doing that.
Wow.
It's a
Nice.
really, really neat event, and we have great participation in it. I think Hard Rock's one of the major sponsors, and we're lining up a lot more. I'll get some weekend exchanges, and it's a terrific event. You come by the Pro Shop or come out here and play. and ask about the event. We'll give you some information for it. Every penny, as you know, goes right to St. Jude's. And of course, our condolences to Marlo Thomas for the loss of her husband, Phil Donahue, this week.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That was brilliant, man. I mean, revolutionized the daytime television industry there with the talk shows.
Lights went out. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, you look good. Oh, yeah. All you had to do is roll back.
There you go.
Does that chair have tennis balls on it? No. All right, here we go. We got the finals are set. Mike and Ron. Gurggles is going to fire off the question. Call out your name if you want to answer. Nobody answers right away. We offer multiple choice. First person to call out his name gets first chance. We go back and forth till we have a winner for the championship. This week's edition of the Trivia Challenge and the Landlubbers gift certificate. Here's Dave.
Okay, guys, just recently, as a matter of fact, last Sunday, Keegan Bradley became only the third Ryder Cup captain to win a tour event after being selected captain, joining Jack Nicklaus and what other golfer
Ooh. Anybody? There's multiple choice.
Fred Couples, Davis Love III, Tom Watson, or Jim Furyk.
Wow. Who? What?
Ron.
Who was it?
Yeah, Ron.
Davis won the third.
That's
it. It's correct.
Wow. Right on.
Jesus,
very
good
nice.
for
I
you.
might have gone with Furyk. All right, very good. That was an impressive run.
Congratulations,
Ron, as he wins the championship and the Landlubbers gift certificate. Lubie will be out there tonight. Landlubbers. That's Sunrise and Pine Island, right? Sunrise
Yes,
and Pine
sir.
Island.
Sunrise Island
Yes.
and Plantation. Yes, sir.
Best cheeseburger around. They're special, and I highly recommend the blackened mahi sandwich as well.
Wow.
And don't be intimidated if you think you're a sports fan, because it's not at all just about sports. It is terrific. They do a great job.
Sufrene will have every game on, though. I mean, he'll find these games, these obscure Thursday night games. Would you lay 36.5 with Rutgers over Howard?
No, but I did like Delaware State plus 40 going to Hawaii last week.
Oh yeah, and what was
Hawaii
the
didn't
final?
even score 40. They have 35-14.
Piece of cake, my friend. Very nice.
How about the Canes and Gators? I got no idea on that one.
Me either. I mean, we mentioned this earlier when Andy was talking about how nobody's talking about the game, but he doesn't talk to anybody anymore. So I don't know. Why am I thinking that somehow Mario Cristobal is going to find a way to fuck this up?
A lot of people think that. I'm leaning Canes, but a lot of people think the Gators are going to find a way to win this game.
The line is astonishingly short considering the narrative surrounding the two teams. The Canes are trying to pump and fuel everybody with the hope that this is it. This is the turning point, the great John Mayall album. And the Gators, I mean, everybody's kind of down on them, aren't they?
Yes.
And last week, it was Georgia Tech was a cinch. Wasn't there a punter, an Irish-born kid? That was the whole story. It was a hometown game, for a home country game. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? What was the name of the guy in the movie again? The Replacements, Nigel the Leg.
Oh, the guy with the SIG. Yeah, the guy with the SIG.
That's a game you don't want to remind Lubie of. That one shall. I mean, a bigger disgrace by far than what happened in that bowl game when they had no players. All right, thanks, Dave. Always a pleasure, my friend. Congratulations on another successful Gurggles road trip. To Gurggles, he's living life right, isn't he?
Yeah, he does well.
Flowing around, he goes back to his hometown of Allentown. He hobnobs. He's still friends with all of these guys he played ball with like 50 years ago. And that's a nice thing. I don't know. I still retain like the smallest semblance of that with my on-court battles with one Dr. Jerry Perlmutter, who we have to resurrect it. I mean, the injured reserve list goes longer and longer. And there's a pretty good chance, even if you're in a sport that only requires two fucking guys, which is a great thing about tennis.
Yep.
2 guys, and you can have a game. You don't have to. Hey, is Frank coming? He said he was coming. You don't have to worry about that. He was supposed to bring 3 guys. But the chances that both of you are going to be in good enough health to do this at the same time, very prohibitive, Lubie. I tear my Achilles. He's out with a rotator cuff, when you come back. I mean, it's crazy. All right, so don't get old. That's the message of the day. Live it one day at a time. And if you're in your 70s, you would have to consider, Lubie, in honor of the death and the passing of Phil Donahue at like 88. He made 88. What was he not on? Borrowed time. That's going to be it. Let's make a bunch of money with some crypto, Lubie. I got 2 million coins that are worth 4 100ths of a penny right now.
There you go.
So I can pick up $80 if I sell them all.
Nice. Okay.
It's not bad, right? I mean, get me through, maybe the early double at the track. That'll be about it. All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow we'll have a Degenerate Friday. The professor will be joining us with a big board. That's always a lot of fun. And we will see you later on today, 12:30 post time for the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show. Nice assortment of food yesterday. Those meatballs were good, huh? Did you try one of those?
I didn't have the meatball.
Sicilian oven? Oh, no?
Great.
You got shut out?
Rice balls. That sausage thing that they come up with is with
That's
the
nice, yeah.
really nice. They do a good job. It's casual family dining, but it feels like it's a little, more elevated than like your slice joint, as Mayo would call it.
Legendary restaurateur, Ralph DeSalvo, man. That was an honor to meet this guy.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Andrew does a great job. Really like that place. That's actually the location Shirley and I go to regularly.
Oh, yeah?
So
Nice.
it's cool to do a show from there.
Yeah, for you. I mean, especially.
Yeah, it was
Anything
great.
west of University, Lubie. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, Horace Greeley is speaking. Go west, young man. You're like, west of what? The fucking Everglades?
Oh my God.
I remember when that was barren wasteland, Lubie, especially to the north.
Mhm.
I mean, even down by where I was living at the time, there was almost nothing west of University Drive when I moved here in 1981. Nothing, my friend.
Yeah,
And I wasn't really familiar with that area so much until later on, until like a couple of years later. But that was it, man. University, and then it was like dirt roads after that. Jungle, Everglades, swampland. Imagine that too. I mean, all those people that were denigrated for, recommending you buy swampland in Florida.
Yeah, it's paid off pretty well. They've gone pretty west.
Holy Ron DeSantis, man.
And they're
Let's
still
tear down the parks, put up a golf course.
Yeah,
All right, we will see you guys later on, 12:30 today. Post time for the Mike Mayo. 12:30, for the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show, and we'll see you next time as we leave it on that.
The time.
It's 9:06.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.